Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Jagobi. OnChain Revolution, networking the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Ordinals the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Yagobi. I will be your host today. Shizzy's out, so I'm going to be running point. But we are continuing the Bitcoin Blitz number 5, hosted by Tokeo Wallet, guys. It's all about education on our channel, and we're going to continue this joint effort of education with Tokeo Wallet. Today's theme is going to be Bitcoin lending, the future of DeFi, right? So that's what we focus on at OnChain Revolution is education, right? And so what Tokyo has done is they've been gracious enough to say, hey, let's put together this educational campaign. And it's going to run all the way through to next Tuesday. So one more week left. So you have a lot more chances to kind of learn, join the spaces. We're doing 2 a day. So a live stream video space in the morning, and in the afternoon, we're doing a regular spaces. But both spaces, you're going to have a chance to win 13,000 Dog Go to the Moon tokens. It's going to be super exciting. And one more kind of house cleaning item. Justin Garreau is the winner from yesterday's stream. So congratulations to Justin. What you need to do is DM the OnChain Revolution account on X with your Bitcoin Taproot address, and we'll get that dog over to you as soon as possible. But we're going to have a great show today. I am going to be accompanied by the founder of Tokeo Wallet, Geedo. And then we have some great guests. We have Fluid Tokens. We have Sats Terminal. We have Liquidium that should be on deck as well. So without further ado, let's bring Geedo up from Tokeo Wallet. Geedo, how are you doing, sir?
What up, my friends? Great to speak. Really happy to be here. And can I tell you what? I'm just marveling at the moment at the resilience of Bitcoin. You know, like there are turbulent times. You know, we had inflation numbers coming out today. We've survived that. The markets survived that. Sunday, no dump. Sitting on 103,500 as we sit now. Yeah, close to 103,500. Solid numbers, right? And I think that people need to be buoyant about that. You know, we're not seeing crazy volatility, and you know that only says one thing to me. That says up, right, from here. So yeah, super excited about that. Also super excited today about the stream. Lending, massive. Yield, massive. Bitcoin doing lending and yield, massive. This is made by projects creating things that were never supposed to be created. And, great guests on here. Fluid Tokens, old Cardano project, but, Bitcoin, becoming a Bitcoin stalwart. Sats Terminal, leading partner of Tokeo. We not only integrated, but we aggregate through Sats Terminal. Great project, recently funded. New projects coming around lending, and excited to to welcome all our guests and super pumped to be here. A little bit of background about Tokeo for those who don't know. First of all, download. As was mentioned by Yagobi, we've got 13,000. In fact, Yagobi, what the fuck? Let's just make it 15,000, dog. I don't like the 13,000 number. Let's just make it 15,000. In fact, do you know what? Today, tune in, people, because this could happen every day. We're going to make it 20,000 dog for today. 20,000 dog. Download the wallet. Try it. It's the slickest experience, right? We feel like our swaps are faster. We feel like the information you get, buy and sell orders, the information in relation to charting on Tokeo, the dApp browser, which has like YouTube and educational videos, soon to integrate AI features, which give you security features like you've never seen. Like think about fraudulent wallet detection. Think about, whether or not like a simulated trade, which tells you if you want to do that or not. Always your choice, but we're providing information through AI to our users. We're providing cross-chain experience, opening up doors, opening up accessibility, opening up liquidity and trading volumes, multi-chain. That's what Tokyo is about. So I encourage you guys to download it and look at it. And yeah, what can I say? Streaming's where it's at. And look, the guys that that we work with from Orbit, whether it be OnChain Revolution, who I think set the standard in terms of information. Tune in, get wise, get knowledge. Well done.
Yeah.
Over to you, Gobi.
Yeah, what an intro. That energy is great. And, the generosity is amazing as well. So you heard it straight from the founder's mouth. 20,000 dog tokens, guys. It's really simple. We actually put in the chat. So if you're on the YouTube side, we put the X link spaces in the chat. All you got to do is go to the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store, one of the two, download the Tokeo wallet, take a screenshot of that, and then go to that link and post a comment of the screenshot, and you have a chance to win 20 dog tokens, dog go to the moon tokens, which has been really, really hot.
Sorry, did you just say 20? I think it's 20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. Sorry, 20,000 dog go to the moon tokens. But yeah, we got a action-packed, blitz today, and this blitz, like as I mentioned, is going to continue to next Tuesday, right? So every morning with OnChain Revolution, we're going to have these educational streams. So hey, look, tag a friend, share the space, share the YouTube link. Education is so important at this kind of place of where we are with innovation in Bitcoin and crypto's ecosystem. But yeah, if you're good with it, I'd love to bring up our first guest. We got a couple people waiting down. Let's welcome a familiar face in Raul from Fluid Tokens. Raul, how are you doing?
Good morning, everyone. All good over here. What about you guys?
Well, thanks, man. Like good. Just about to head back to Australia for a few weeks, catch up with some family before heading back to NYC. You're back in Italy, I take it, Raul?
Actually, no. I'm still in California. I'm in a Draper University program, so we'll be in US until the end of the day, and until at the end of the month. Sorry, I will go to Bitcoin 2025 in Vegas, and that's going to be a very nice experience. Looking forward to it.
Hands up, who's going to Bitcoin 25?
I'm still on the fence. Yes.
No.
I gotta get. I know. So after Shaz had reached out and said who's going, and I said we're probably not going to go, I was like, oh man, I do have a really close friend that lives right there. I was like, hey, maybe I'll just go and check out all the side events with you guys and have a good time. Look, the events are amazing. Bitcoin conference is amazing. I was there last year, and actually we had the opportunity to meet Raul in person at a bar in Nashville. So it's definitely a great time. I'll let you guys know very soon, but I'm leaning towards it now because you guys are giving me FOMO.
For those who don't know Raul, have known him for some time from the Cardano community originally. Obviously, very ingratiated in Bitcoin, but one of the most ingratiating and nicest people you can meet. He's one of those guys that I don't think that anyone could ever say anything bad about. They're kind of like, that guy's lovely guy, he's that guy. Yeah. And also incredibly knowledgeable in terms of tech. Raul, talk us through it, bro. What are you doing in terms of lending? What are the advancements in terms of Fluid? Where are you going? What's next? What excites you?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thanks for the introduction. And so we launched the lending on Fluid tokens 1 year ago. And it was, and it is currently a lending platform against your Ordinals. When we decided to launch, our main focus was how can we ensure to give a proper DeFi experience to Bitcoin users? Because we don't want them to trust us. We don't want them to use a multi-signature run it by Fluid. We want them to be able to do real DeFi. So lender and borrower can agree on terms and start a loan. And that's actually what we did. On Fluid, you are able to set up your terms as lender. You are able to create this small liquidity pool or big liquidity pool, if you are aware, against a ordinal collection. And in that case, what happens is that any borrower that provides the right ordinal can actually borrow from you according to your terms. And the very cool thing is that all this is using all the OP codes that are available already on Bitcoin. We don't need OP-cat, we don't need new things. And as funny fact, we had to compress all our logic in the limit of OP return. Like, we faced this issue when we launched. We tested everything, and when we were on testnet, we saw, hey, but it's amazing, we can use OP return. But then we went on mainnet, and we faced that there was a limit to OP return on mainnet. And we were like, wait, this was not available on testnet. We didn't expect this limit to be so hard. So we had to do some brainstorming, and we were able to compress everything. So for sure, this means that unlocking this limit will help other developers to outcome these issues that we had, for instance. And what we want to do right now with lending in particular is to provide the same experience that we have with staking. So a one-click solution where you don't need to make a signature back and forth with other parties. And in one click, you are able to lend or either borrow. And that's it. It starts.
What I'm hearing now, Raul, and Yagobi, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is more about convenience for users and introducing convenience for Bitcoin users, which hasn't traditionally been there. Let's be honest. So many protocols and so many systems that we've been working with and platforms we've been working the last couple of days, they've just been talking about making Bitcoin easier. And I see the guys from Fluid just setting the standard there. Awesome work. Over to you, Yagobi.
Yeah, we've known Raul for quite a long time, right? And it just was so eye-opening because we've learned so much about the Bitcoin like mechanics of the chain by just covering it since we really started covering it like in mid 2023. So Ordinals is what kind of opened a lot of people's eyes here. And there was a lot of builders that felt like the limitations were just too much. And then once we came across Fluid, they were like, hey, look, we've been having to tweak with, UTXO chains, mechanics for a long time. We built on Cardano, and so they started doing out of the box stuff. And you know, one of the biggest things was kind of the staking on Bitcoin's native layer, that they were kind of able to unlock that. And so Raul, could you talk a little bit about that part too, how you guys came, I guess, in you know, over from Cardano, and how that experience being a UTXO developer helped you have these little unlocks that maybe that weren't maybe so obvious to someone that didn't have UTXO experience?
No, absolutely. So first of all, for the ones that don't know, Cardano is a UTXO chain, so same architecture as Bitcoin. However, what has in addition is the capability of having smart contracts on UTXOs. So this is what actually allows you to unlock marketplace, DEXs, and so on Cardano. But UTXOs are limited also on Cardano. Like, you don't have some things that you can have easily on account model, like EVM and so on. Therefore, all the teams that are currently building on Cardano or that have built have a strong knowledge of UTXO and how to overcome to their limitations. So you will find many type of applications, and the cool thing is that once you have fixed those issues on Cardano, then you are able to replicate them and fix them also on Bitcoin. And that's how we, for instance, were able to, oh, wait, on Cardano, it is possible to do this, this, and this. Bitcoin Cardano is UTXO. Let's see if on Bitcoin it is possible. And the answer was yes. So we were really able to understand how to properly handle the ordinals and everything. And yeah, it was a very smooth experience, and we are very happy to have done that.
Well, supporting what Raul says, I think Bitcoin led the way to what's possible. And, you know, a lot of things, certainly when Tokeo came over to Bitcoin, you know, things that seem so natural, like staking or which is and generating yield, which is such a hot topic on Bitcoin at the moment. It's all about yield. You know, we've heard that in the last couple of days, Yagobi, like, you know, that's where it's at. But those things were so different, and the innovation being shown by builders in terms of tapping into smart contract layers, and whether it be ICP, whether it be Cardano, whether it be Ethereum. You know, we've heard so many stories about the innovation and revolution that's been created by people going beyond and above the curve of where Bitcoin was created. So, yeah, absolutely understand where these guys are going.
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing it, and it's different than what we're used to, because what we're used to since DeFi started with Ethereum, it was that real start to it was kind of tribalistic. It's like, okay, what can we do within our chain? What can we do? You know, how far can we take it within our chain? But what you're seeing with the Bitcoin, you know, broader DeFi ecosystem is like, what can we all do for Bitcoin in a sense, right? How can we work together to make Bitcoin a better experience? And so, Raul, whenever I say that, like, you see people that still, like, even yourself, that has this UTXO experience, which is amazing. You want to have that when you're building here, but you still say, okay, that can't be done by, you know, even like, you know, using outside of the box techniques and stuff. You know, it's more of like, okay, we do have to use the scaling solution for this part only. Do you see that being pretty much like a big kind of growth, I guess, approach, is utilizing these other scaled solutions to make Bitcoin DeFi like explosive, I guess you could say?
No, exactly, indeed. Like, as you said, you can build some a DeFi solution with what you currently have on Bitcoin. However, you're going to be limited, right? At a certain point, you will face some hard limit and you won't be able to overcome. And that's how you, and why there are so many BIP pushing for having, well, right now it's just a matter of OP return limit. But the next one, I guess, and I think that everyone is hoping for OPCAT to come finally alive. And what is going to unlock OPCAT? Well, OPCAT is actually going to unlock the possibility to have more checks directly on chain, and actually having lending and borrowing directly on L1 in one click. So no multi-signatures, no oracles. You can say, this is some Bitcoin available for anyone that provides, I don't know, let's say Bitcoin Frog. And you are actually able to check on chain if that's a Bitcoin Frog or not, because you can provide a list, let's say, of possible Bitcoin Frogs. And that's completely trustless, completely built on chain. So looking at this OP return discussion and looking how well positive is going for us in this moment, it seems like it's unveiled. Oh my God, I don't. It doesn't come.
Say
the word.
Say it in
we
Italian.
know what you're saying. Say, hey, Raul, say it 3 times really quickly.
Inevitable.
There you
Okay,
go.
here
Yeah, that's it. Inevitable. Yeah, got you.
So, and it's cool for us to be building right here, because it means that we have the proper base to be ready, because as soon as any of these things unlocks, we are already here. We have already the libraries, the infrastructure in order to support them. So sometimes people say, why building on Bitcoin layer 1? It's so slow. Why building on Bitcoin layer 1? There are no smart contracts. It's about to be ready. So it's not a matter of doing everything on chain. It's about to be ready for what is coming.
Can I answer that? Can I attempt to answer that question, Gobi? Why are people building on Bitcoin? Because we're unlocking the greatest level of liquidity that's ever been seen in crypto with compute power. That is the reality here. Further to that, Tokeo, as everybody knows, is a multi-chain product, which is trying to open the doors of crypto and make it a single sort of utility base where, like, let's talk about a scenario where you've got T-Mobile or Telstra in Australia, or or any other mobile company. You don't make a phone call and someone says, what network did you call on? So we are about interoperability, but the liquidity will always be, no one's ever going to catch Bitcoin in terms of liquidity, volume, and in terms of market cap. So the businesses as Raul is doing, and as the guys from Fluid are doing, which are unlocking that liquidity by providing compute power and providing things like lending, staking, cross-chain swaps, whatever it may be, the businesses are going to win. And I think the guys from Fluid are perfectly placed. So it's been great to hear from you, Raul.
Yeah, for sure. And Raul, you've been here for over a year in the Bitcoin ecosystem. We've seen, strong projects kind of be able to survive the limitations of Bitcoin. What advice would you give to like a new builder that's saying, okay, it's so hard over there, but we know that opportunity that Geedo actually just talked about, the trillions of dollars of liquidity to unlock? Like, what advice would you give a new builder coming over here? Because you obviously have a good formula. You guys are still here and you're still building in Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I would say go there, start building, join the communities, ask them, meet them, and see how everyone is fixing the issues. Because you don't want to do and face the same issues and maybe try to break your head over a problem that maybe someone else has already solved. So meet the people that are building and see how maybe they were able to find a solution for that. So find the way that they are using and make sure that you help them in other ways, maybe, because maybe they will face other issues and your experience will help them to build.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's such a good, breakdown of advice there. Stay with it. Try to, what Fluid's done is they've worked on layer 1. There's a lot of respect from that. And then also they say, okay, but we do need the scaling solutions, kind of like what Geedo just talked about. So you're kind of set for the future. If it goes to the scaling, which we know there's going to be some of both, you're set for that, and for the base layer, you guys are set too. So appreciate you. Last thing, what's next for Fluid Tokens for these new listeners that are just learning about you guys? Like, what's something exciting?
So what's coming is Bitcoin staking. So we are going to aggregate all the yield opportunities in the Bitcoin ecosystem, and you will be able to stake your Bitcoin directly in one click from Fluid, and lock up them in a not custodial way for, let's say, 3-6 months, and get yield for the very first time directly on Bitcoin layer 1.
Love it. Love it. Earning off of your Bitcoin. Raul, we appreciate you and your time. We know you're super busy learning and building out there in San Francisco. And we look forward to having you on-chain Revolution and, possibly another Blitz, because this is the second one you've been on with us. So we will talk to you soon, sir.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Geedo. Thanks, Jacoby. And see you, both of you, in Las Vegas.
Right. Yes, you got me. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, brother.
Yep.
Thanks, Raul.
Yep.
Hey, brother, I think it's a foregone conclusion. You're coming.
It looks like it. It looks like it.
Let's make it so. Do you know what? I normally have a suite and something pretty good. I'll get you a roll away. It's happening. If there's nothing left, you're there. Let's get that done.
Yeah.
To comment quickly on Fluid, like, what a class builder, and I think the narrative there was UTXO bros in terms of building on UTXO chains.
Yep.
I said that there's two things that came out of that for me. One being, right, the same statement again and again and again. Yield your Bitcoin, yield your Bitcoin, yield your Bitcoin, yield. That's where we're at with Bitcoin. We've got so many people with so much Bitcoin locked up. Let's make that work for people. One. Secondly, UTXO builders like Cardano builders, they certainly have a place in Bitcoin. They've built on probably a more advanced protocol, certainly not with as much liquidity, but things like staking, things like liquid offers, things like the ability to aggregate, all of those things that have been so forced and hard for Bitcoin, that's been done on Cardano. So taking that knowledge and taking that understanding, right, and bringing that to a chain that probably isn't as advanced but has way more liquidity, there's something in that gel for me, and I think that there's something in that, meaning, if you can take that knowledge and start applying those, and then start applying additional chains and protocols to help provide compute power, I think we're onto a winner and a recipe that's going to lead to success.
Absolutely. I've been all about this, chain abstraction and this interoperability approach. And look, Ethereum kind of have their own world. Solana's kind of have their own world. And these other chains that are coming over to Bitcoin, they have their own things as well. But they also realize how they can plug in and really help both sides. There's a mutual benefit there. And so I agree 1,000% of what you just said. And for the audience, guys, if you missed it, Geedo and Tokyo are giving away 20,000 dog tokens. It's a really simple.
Say what?
Yeah. Say what? No, 20,000.
I don't think it was 13 nor 15 nor 1750. I think we said 20,000 dog. Is that
20,000 dog tokens.
You heard it first.
Yes. And it started at 13, but Geedo kept bumping it up. And all you have to do is, if you're watching on X, it's even easier. All you have to do is go to the Apple App Store, Google Play, download the Tokyo wallet. After you do that, just take a simple screenshot of it and then put that image as a comment under the X spaces, and you will be in a raffle to win 20,000 Dog Go to the Moon tokens. We dropped the link in the YouTube chat as well, guys. So super exciting stuff. We do have a couple more guests. I know there's some people that are tied up with some things as well, but they said that they are working their way here. But we do have Faizan. I believe Faizan might be from Covenant down waiting below, but let's welcome him up to the stage. Faizan, how are you doing?
GM guys, hey Jacoby, hey Geedo, been a while.
How are you, brother?
Okay, so ChaChing, my bad. ChaChing, yeah.
So for those who don't know, hey Laboon, face on, bro. Mate, are you sick? Face on, bro.
He wants to see your beautiful mug.
Let's see that.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this is a great Laboon. behind ChaChing. You know, their testnet's gone wild. They're building something revolutionary in terms of lending. Very, very close friends of Tokeo, and also OnChain Revolution for that matter. And you know, and what we call part of the Bitcoin family and community. Laboom, why did you put Faizan up? I just want to know.
Uh, just I was like, it's okay. Like people can call me by Faizan.
No, that's okay. I'm joking, bro. Have a laugh with me. So Laboom, tell me. I'm going to call you Laboom. Is that okay?
That's okay. Let me change my name.
Okay.
There it is.
There we
Laboom.
go. So Laboom, as he's known and well known within the ecosystem of Bitcoin, mate, tell us what you've got cooking. Where are you at in terms of your test net? Where are you at in terms of going live? You know, what are you going to shill? Tell us what's important. Give us what you've been cooking. Tell us, give us the alpha.
Yeah, there's a lot of alpha to be given, but yeah, I mean, I'm the founder of ChaChing. You guys must know Forks really well, so
Yeah.
I'm his other co-founder, and we ChaChing is also we're building like a lending protocol on native Bitcoin, where now users would be able to basically collateralize their Bitcoin natively on chain and be able to borrow against and utilize the value of it. And I was just hearing Fluid Tokens also talk, and yes, while you see all of these different chains trying to, and all of these different projects which are on different chains trying to get onto Bitcoin, it is very important for us to also understand what these Bitcoin holders who have been on the Bitcoin chain need, right? You might see a lot of these primitives and a lot of these projects which are trying to like force fit a lot of different things on Bitcoin, and then basically kind of forcing users to kind of use it, which not a lot of Bitcoiners and Bitcoin holders want. What we do at ChaChing is the protocol and the product that we built is keeping the Bitcoin holders in mind. So we basically went from the ground up, spoke to a lot of folks, tried and understand what is it that they actually need, and how are they looking at it from a product standpoint. Because what we realized was, while we can figure out all the technicalities very easily, because the team is very poised in doing that, we need to also make sure that the user experience is as seamless as possible, and that is what we have been really focused on at ChaChing. So yeah, we are a lending protocol. We leverage Arch Networks VM to create a smart contract which governs a multi-sig, and that is where all the Bitcoin gets natively staked. We already have the USDT integration live, so users can now collateralize the Bitcoin, borrow USDT. We will have a few other stable coins, including Circle USDT. USDC will also be there very soon. We've seen some really, really amazing response on the testnet. We're live on the Bitcoin testnet. Have crossed. I think we're close to 1 million transactions. We've crossed 4,000 Bitcoins in deposits. There's like 2,500 Bitcoins already lent out to different folks, and more than 20,000 different wallets that are on the testnet right now and geared for the mainnet. We're all geared for the mainnet. It is going to be in June, hopefully, and we're all very excited about that. And on the testnet, it's not just retail folks. We've got like mining companies, a couple of institutions that are looking at yield generating opportunities on Bitcoin, and things like that. So yeah, exciting stuff for us, man. Exciting times.
This project and these guys, they're fire. I've had the opportunity to be with them at Token 2049. We spent some time in Dubai. I was fortunate enough to have dinner with Laboom the other night, and Forks, who are both just great guys. They make me feel good whenever I'm around them. They're those guys. I hope I make them feel the same. But we're super excited for what they're doing, and these are the guys that toil really hard. I mean, they're the guys that put in. Sometimes the extra 10% means everything. And it hasn't been a project at times which has not faced adversity, but these guys are dogged. They do what needs to be done for success, and the Tokyo team are certainly behind you. I know the OnChain Revolution guys are close to you too, and we're all rooting for you, man, and I know that we're gonna see success and enjoying that together. Laboom, just a quick question, and I'm asking this for everyone who's up tonight. Ugobi is talking about not coming not coming to Vegas. Does this sound possible? Hands up if you want Ugobi to come to Vegas.
Of course.
Oh, that's two hands. Oh man,
both hands up.
I feel like I'm there right now. I'm already teleported now.
Yeah, you need to be there. There's a lot of exciting stuff that is going to be happening at Vegas.
Yeah.
I mean, I was also in double minds whether I should go or not, but then Geedo kind of convinced me, and he's doing.
Oh, he pulled this on you.
Again, what? Say what? A bit of Alpha 2 Tokyo just confirmed a booth. We'll be on the like at the inscriptions part of the Bitcoin conference. We also got something pretty psycho that we think we're going to do in terms of the wraparound screen. Think ninjas, think hiding, think swords, think Tokyo, think kaboom. So kaboom to Laboom. So man, thank you. Yeah, awesome. For sure. So look, anything else you want to
Well, we've, like you said, we've gone back really far with this with these guys. I remember when I first heard some of these ideas of lending with Bitcoin, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but this was from a long time ago. So this is something that you guys have probably released, but it has something to do with reputation, right? And I think that is huge because we are going to go into a point where our space, like to get normies on board, that part and different things that they're used to have to merge with what we're doing here. Are you able to talk about that, or is that a little bit too much alpha that we're far away from right now?
I mean, I can talk a little bit about that.
Maybe you can talk about the concept and why it's needed or something.
Yeah, so I can talk about the concept for sure. So while we are building the lending protocol, the thought process was it's very easy to lend money. It's very difficult to get it back, right? That's like kind of make or break for all the lending protocols that are kind of there. So how do we create a process and create a system which gamifies borrower repayments while making sure that the protocol keeps getting better with every kind of loan that the protocol gives or every drawdown that happens through the protocol? And for that, what we have created is it's basically like a reputation score and a reputation kind of a model on at ChaChing, where as soon as you connect your wallet, what ChaChing does is we have like 20 plus data points that we check about your wallet. It starts with, let's say, like the vintage of the wallet, what assets you have, different transactions. I won't get into the details of that, but based on all of those things, we it gives you a ChaChing score or a health score, which is a reputation score, and it can emulate like a credit score as well. So now for the users, there are a lot of incentives if the score is higher versus if your score is lower, right? And then when you think about it, just the reputation layer and this reputation score from a broader standpoint, you have a lot of different use cases that it caters to. Like Yakubi said, something that clubs both the ecosystems together, and then eventually all of these protocols knowing who the users are that are like first timers on the platform and things like that. So yeah, I mean, while we created that in to make sure we sort of like mitigate risks in one way or the other, but I think the overall implications of something like a reputation score is it's going to be huge for the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, especially because my initial thought when I heard this idea from you guys about a year, I want to say almost a year and a half ago. And when I first heard that, I was like, well, and anybody could just whip up another address. But then if you think about it, that will go into kind of that scoring process as well. Meaning, like, I'm 18 years old. The way the regular credit works, I'm 18 years old. I want to get a car. I can't get a brand new car because I haven't built my credit up, right? I need my parents to co-sign for me. So this idea actually can work very well in a decentralized way. Obviously, you're going to have your reputation associated to it, but you don't have to KYC or anything like that. Maybe that happens in the future, but yeah, you can really build like, oh, this is my special wallet because now this wallet has like a 800, 1,000, ChaChing score. Is that how you see the future of this?
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, there would be a lot of incentivizations on the platform and through our partners as well that we will have. So the score that a particular wallet would have would not just benefit the user on the ChaChing protocol, but all on our partner protocols as well. So there would be really heavy incentives for folks to have the scores like higher, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Geedo, I'm curious of what your thoughts on something like that. A wallet address that has a built up, like good, strong reputation that has maybe, more benefits than a wallet that just was open yesterday.
Well, we are so at Tokyo, we're doing things around. So we have, I can't disclose it yet, but we've got a partnership with an AI. I think the leading AI business in crypto. That's really hard to say. One of the leading AI business in crypto, which do things like run test transactions, say detect fraudulent wallets, say track wallets, they do things like that. But it's not just about that for us; it's about education. And whether or not we're providing YouTube content, which is slotted in the right spot within the wallet, whether or not it is intuitive features which make people back up their keys, for example, a test case to back up your key, your keys, whether or not it is, taking someone through staking for the first time or through yield. Like these are things that are in crypto, right, which are really, really difficult to learn. Like I've been in crypto since 21. I'm not by far, an OG, like 4 years is nothing in this space. But for us, we're looking at the next billion users, right? And how do we make it easier for the next billion users? I think what Laboom's talking about, with things like schools and education, and also creating the kind of environment where we can, invite new users and make it easier to understand, because it's not easy, right? So let's demystify crypto. Let's make it easier and let's onboard masses, because that's where it comes from. A little bit of alpha, Tokyo's starting to work on some stuff around culture. And that might mean access to music, concert shows, like exclusive content from artists and things like that, which is kind of like about culture. Let's bring IRL into crypto. And if you can demystify, like what we're doing with the guys from ChaChing, and try to make it easier for people to understand lending protocols. Everyone knows what it's like to apply for a credit card online. Why don't we make that easier to do in crypto? And I think that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, Geedo. I think I totally resonate with whatever you said. And if there has to be, like, let's say, like a mainstream adoption, not for like folks to be able to use DeFi, but like Bitcoin as a matter of fact, right? There has to be an intersection where it is not as hard, the learning curve is not as high that is there currently, right? And it's our responsibility, right? It's wallets like Tokeo and protocols like ChaChing that we have to get the users on board. And yeah, I think we all are playing our role in that.
Yeah.
And look, it's our responsibility, guys. For us, think about it. I know when I first came into crypto, remember that first send when you had in crypto, like when you got onto a SEX, you bought your first crypto, you discovered that you needed to have a decentralized or a decentralized wallet, or next thing, what, I need a wallet with this as well. What do I need the wallet for? Non-custodial wallet comes in. That first send in crypto, when you're transferring from a SEX, right, and it's Bitcoin, and it takes you like an hour, and you're going, what the fuck? Is my coin coming? Have I lost it? Is it there yet? Is it coming yet? What's going on yet? Those things are really challenging. And if we can kind of demystify those things, right, and the same thing with lending, and I know that's what the guys from ChaChing are doing, right? let's demystify crypto, make it easier for the masses, and try to invite people in here and and create the revolution. I think that's what we're doing. And look, I just love the guys from ChaChing. What can I say? I'm
Yeah.
I just see the boom in Vegas and awesome.
Well, and the audience that's listening that has been in the Bitcoin space for a while, they know that ChaChing is their team is OGs and ordinal enjoyers, degens, all that kind of stuff that led to this road that says, hey, what can we contribute to the space? And you mentioned a little bit on it. You said there's users that are probably more about self-sovereignty, that have their own Bitcoin in their heart, their cold wallets, and I think there's gonna be different products for different people, right? When it comes to lending, are you guys focused on that group of people? The ones that because we have a bunch of ancient Bitcoin whales. People keep saying that. I guess they have all $2 trillion because they're like, when are they going to release it? Is that who you guys are going after, or to start with at least?
Yeah, I mean, those are a part of it as well. And we are talking to a lot of them, and they're very excited about the kind of solutions that we're providing right now. And they can't wait to get on the mainnet with us. So, yeah, I mean, while we have those kinds of people as well, we've seen a couple of use cases that people, especially from a lending borrowing standpoint, that people are very excited about. While there are these folks who want to just utilize it, you've got like a lot of these mining companies that would want to just cover their operational costs, especially during bear cycles. You have a lot of traders who want to leverage these lending protocols for a lot of their trading strategies as well. So we're seeing a lot of these use cases come up, and our goal is to, of course, focus on a few of those when we start, and then scale it from there.
If you look, you go at someone like Babylon, for example. I think that we got a stat yesterday that Babylon unlocked 6 billion. Was that correct? 6 billion in staking.
Around there, I think it was significant for sure, especially bringing this approach of so they were pretty smart the way they did it. They did the staking actually on Bitcoin layer 1. But there was this mechanism of kind of a staking, restaking business model of a bunch of people.
I get that, but the illustration I'm trying to make here is 6 billion v 3 trillion. We're dipping our toes in the water here, guys, right?
Yeah.
Like the unlock value that we're talking about is so minute compared to what's available. Like it's and these are the kind of protocols that are doing it. And the ChaChing guys, I root for them, and it's about unlocking that Bitcoin and getting people, to sit from holders and actually start creating yield, being able to lend and buy new assets, because that's how IRL really operates, right? If you think about leverage in terms of assets, whether it be housing, whether it be lending off mortgages, for example, in housing, whether it be lending off asset pools and leveraging things like motor vehicles, or it all comes down to asset pool. At the moment, we've got Bitcoin, which is locked into asset pools that no one's really utilizing, and I find that astounding when you put that into a comparison with IRL. And I am all about now comparing to IRL, right? Like, how do we create those kind of IRL or real world asset experiences, that compare with Bitcoin? And yeah, look, I think that we've all got a responsibility to try to create those kind of protocols and make that happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last thing, and I promise I'll let you go. I know we've been holding on to you forever.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's for hours.
What's the next thing for ChaChing? Like, the audience has been hearing about you guys. So, are you guys aligned with Arch on kind of that's the mainnet approach?
Yes. So the next step for us is to go to mainnet as soon as possible. I think June end is when Arch is tentatively going to mainnet, and we will follow just a couple of weeks after that. So yeah, I mean, all guns blazing there, and the entire team is excited about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, look, we're looking forward to it. I feel like the Arch network ecosystem has a lot of great protocols to offer, and a lot of them lean towards like the RWA or these kind of TradFi style protocols that might be attractive to the people coming over from TradFi or Bitcoin people. But Laboom, thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to seeing what's next for ChaChing.
Sorry, you go. We look forward to seeing you in Vegas, don't we, brother?
There we
Yes,
go.
we're looking forward to see you in Vegas. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, all right, Laboom. We will talk to you soon, sir.
For sure. All right, guys.
Take it easy. All right. What'd you think?
Look, I love what they're doing. They've got a different approach as well, and they're really humble guys. The education part and the academy that they're talking about, I'm just all over that stuff. I know Forks really well. I've got to know those guys super well. They're really aligned with Tokeo. As you know, with the Tokeo wallet, we celebrate and elevate great products. And that's a team that we really want to continue to work with. And yeah, look, I'm rooting for them. I know that they've been capital raising really hard. They've got some great support. Anyone who's interested in investing in the product and from a VC perspective, I suggest you reach out. I've had a look at the offer myself. It's incredibly compelling and something that I'm excited about. So, look, and what can I say, Yagobi? Like, the names that we've spoken to in the last 4 or 5 days, they keep recurring, right? Arch keeps coming up. These guys are working with Arch. The intersection between projects, the way in which people are working together, like what a great community, and super excited to be here.
Yeah, and it wasn't always like that, by the way. It was very tribal for a very long time. And I feel like the last 6 months, there's just been an amazing energy from whether it's, other layer ones like Cardano, ICP, or, these new type of hybrid VMs like Arch and stuff like that. So I think it's being more welcoming, and that's what we need to do, And you said, when you guys first came over here, it was open arms, right?
Yeah, for sure. Look, the barriers are broken down. Like, we knew some folks over here, and we position ourselves as a product for all. But the Bitcoin community has been incredibly welcoming. The Runes community has been great. The Ordinals community has been great. The layer 2s have been great. We're speaking to VCs. It's been welcoming, and we're really happy to be a part of it. So I encourage people to break down barriers and break down chains. That's a good thing to say here, right? Break down chains, because it's not about being chain agnostic. It's about welcoming others and creating a community that we all know and love. So it's been awesome.
Absolutely. And user experience, of course, that is going to be the main adopter of the masses. And so appreciate that breakdown there. Guys, remember, 20,000 Dog to the Moon Runes tokens are going to be given away by Tokeo. All you have to do is on this X Spaces, the X Spaces, go download the Tokeo wallet from the Apple App Store and Google Play. Take a screenshot of that download and comment that image on the X Spaces, and you will have your chance to win. Not a ton yet. There's a couple submissions in there. So look, you're going to win. You have a good higher chance. So keep pushing, keep putting those in there. But we do have a Psyclops from our guy Psyclops from Sats Terminal that I'm going to bring up. Psyclops, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Yagobi. Hey, Geedo. How's it going?
Hey, how are you? Good to see you.
Great to see you too.
Yeah, welcome, man. Love what you guys are doing. Thanks so much for joining the space. I don't know whether you've been listening in, but sorry, why do I keep saying space? Stream, space, they sound the same. Not really, but yes, but kind of. But yeah, look, great to have you on the stream. For those who don't know, Tokeo very closely aligned with Sats Terminal. We use their aggregator for trading runes. If you haven't traded runes on Tokeo yet, do it. Sats Terminal powers that. But Psyclops, tell us about what you guys have been doing, what's going on, how's it operating, where are you at?
We're kind of in the middle of a whole bunch of dev right now. So we're kind of like a caged tiger that wants to start going forward more with some of the stuff that's coming out. But I think there's just little loose ends because we only have like a small number of devs. And so like they're they're amazing. They're getting everything done, and
They're
it's like
small in numbers, but they're high in skill. That's what I would say, and I've worked with those guys.
yeah, which is kind of like I kind of prefer that sometimes to like a whole arsenal of devs. Like that can sometimes get a little bit slow because there's a little bit of tension sometimes, but like they're getting it all done, and so I'm excited to just start moving forward with everything because like we're about to hit summertime. I think Bitcoin DeFi is starting to get fully online more and more. Like we have all these things from certain VCs, but like they're just like we have oracles, we have lending, like all these things are coming online, and that's like kind of a big deal for when it all just because I think from Cardano probably like when all the lending platforms got online, like how nutty it got. Like that's what I'm kind of looking for, like that level of degeneracy, like because that's when like I'm gonna start playing, getting my Bitcoin in play. So
Competition's healthy, right? And look, I learned this. I've been in business for a long time, but I learned this some time ago. People get scared of competition. It's a natural response, right? But it's actually an irrational one. And I'm going to explain this in a way. If one person does something, it's kind of like, yeah, is that real? If one or two or three people do it, it's naturally validated. So competition is a natural response. Further to it being a natural response, it accelerates innovation, right? Like you want someone to push you to be better, right? If someone's doing this and we're doing this, complacency is driven by being alone, right? If you're competing and you're pushing, that's where we see true innovation. So, yeah, look, I think we're going into an incredibly exciting time. I think you're right.
And I love it from a degen perspective because like I degened at that time in DeFi, and it's like the yield on it because they're all competing. They stack the yield on top of the yield was like a beautiful thing at that time. It was like you open a CDP, then you put on liquid, then you wrap it around as many times as you can, then you use the leftover money to get like a loan on LendFi. And it was just like yield after yield after yield, and it was like this is like the best way I've ever been stabled up.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just excited for that. Like when that starts, like we should be talking on Spaces about how we can take advantage of that, especially within like SUI and like mixing up chains. Like that's where Tokyo gets me like really excited. Is just mixing up that DeFi on as many chains as you can.
Well, I think that we just said like Unchained, right? Like so. I think I'm stealing that from Boss, who says that who's doing something around on chain at the moment, but in terms of a branding motif. But I believe that's where it's at. Let's introduce liquidity users.
Yeah,
like I'm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, like the approach to being able to take advantage of all the DeFi opportunities, like if you can really condense that into like one location, like you said, like whether it's Sats terminal doing aggregation or like in the wallet, the smart wallet of Tokyo, just having those kind of multipliers. Obviously, it's going to get to a point to where I think like you see a certain high percentage, but if you see, you have to layer it, that's a different category, right? So could you talk a little bit about SAS Terminal's perspective on this lending approach? What do you guys think about it?
So lending is something that we're looking very much into. I can't fully divulge that. But I do think what's also important for lending is you need a DEX aggregator because of the big part of lending. In order for lending to work is liquidations. And so you need to have a way, like being able to finally sell, like by going through our DEXs now that are LPs is very important for liquidations. Being able to just have like a flowing market, and like the more and more we start to get layer twos into the aggregation, I think it just starts getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because like I think we're going to have Alkane soon, and then once we can get something like Like our dream is to get stacks on, like get Bitflow on. And it's like, if all those things start aggregating, it just makes a smoother experience so that like our lending becomes stronger and stronger. And then, when something like Liquidium has like strong liquidations, like you could just see really like awesomely degenerate things happen. Like what happened on ETH. Like that was
I hope we learn our lessons from it though.
It's a fair market though, because there's nothing like, so the thing is, if it crashes, it's like, what I like about it was like Raul Powell did say it like correctly. It was like, because everything's like so transparent, when it does crash, you could see it all crash. They're going to people have feelings about it, but that is the market. Like, I can't control that. If it's allowed, and people are going to look at this all day, like, because I was there. They look at DeFi all day trying to find the crack, and that's like kind of an awesome thing. Like, it's something that like a fair market does have, and so it's like it's going to happen to some degree, and it's like I think that shows that it works, in my opinion.
Yeah. And people just get smarter over time and they start to figure it out and all that stuff. So I agree with you. Yeah. And, but we are coming up, we're actually past the hour. So, but I'm going to push it back a little bit here because we have Liquidium that just showed up. I want to give them a tiny bit of time, but what last, I guess, like things that the audience should look forward to with Stats Terminal?
Stats Terminal. So a lot of we're trying to spend a lot of time on community building and a lot on our marketing. So you're going to be seeing a lot more happen within our social things to be able to get involved and be interactive with it. It's almost there. Yeah.
Awesome, Cyclops. Well, hey, look, you guys have some cracked out devs teams. I know that. So you guys, once y'all announce some stuff, it's going to start rolling out really quick, and we're excited about that. We're thankful for you to jump on and really break down to the community where Stats Terminal's coming from. So we will talk to you soon, sir.
Yeah, anytime.
All right. Take it easy. Oh, you're on mute, Geedo.
Sorry, brother.
You're good.
Yeah, look, we're close with the guys from Sats. We obviously aggregate with we use their aggregator. It provides, for those who don't use the aggregator who are builders, it's a great product. We're also the preferred wallet on DotSwap. We have a relationship with those guys, but by default, we get those trades through DotSwap, Magic Eden, RuneStacks. So we start getting all of those trades anyway. It's a great product, and they're really great guys. Shout out to Stan from Stats Terminal 2. He's a great guy to deal with, and I'd encourage the community to reach out and start dealing with those guys. But being that we're over the hour, let's get into Liquidium.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, sorry, just a shout out again. But did I say 20,000, dog?
Yes.
I said 20,000. Hey, I'm feeling crazy, you baby.
You're sounding crazy this entire time. You've gone from 13,000 to 20,000, but let's hear it out.
Should we offer another 5,000 if someone also downloads and does a swap?
Yes, let's do it. Okay. So they have to take a screenshot of the swap.
Yeah. So if you download the wallet, you get 20,000 dog, right? If you make a swap, which will be the most efficient swap that you've made in terms of runes. And I would challenge you to find a more efficient swap and one that is more intuitive or quicker. We're going to give you an extra 5,000 dog. Thoughts on that?
That sounds great. So would this be two concurrent raffles or
no? So if you download the wallet only and you post a shot of that, you get 20, right? If you download it and also show that you've done a swap, you get a bonus 5.
Okay. So you just heard it. You can get up to 25,000 Doggo to the Moon tokens, but to do that, you got to take a screenshot of the actual swap that you did and then post that into the X Spaces comments. But what a generous man this Geedo is today.
For those who haven't, I've had a really good day, by the way. I've had a couple of really great things happen to me, so I'm feeling generous, guys. And on top of that too, I think the shot you need to take, and watch out for it. There's a real confetti explosion when there's a swap. So, which you guys probably haven't seen. There's a lot of animation in Tokeo too. So, snap the confetti, show a confirmed swap, and download the wallet. We'll give you an extra 5,000 dog.
Love it. You heard it straight from the founder's mouth.
I think we better end this stream soon. I don't know how much dog I'm going to give away.
Exactly. Well, let's bring Jay up from Liquidium. Jay, welcome to the stream with the double peace sign and the Supreme hat. Hey, the guy has style.
And the orange thing.
There you go. The
Yeah.
orange thing. But welcome to OnChain Revolution, Bitcoin Blitz, brought to you by Tokeo. Could you kind of give a quick kind of introduction of what Liquidium is, what it offers the Bitcoin ecosystem?
Yeah, first of all, sorry for being late. Lots of stuff going on, but happy to be here. To myself, I'm Jay, CMO, co-founder of Liquidium. What is Liquidium? Quick TLDR, we're the biggest lending and borrowing protocol. On Bitcoin layer 1, people are collateralizing runes, BRC20s, and Ordinals via our platform. We've been doing, I don't know the numbers, but over 4,100 BTC in total loan volume.
Woo!
Paid out over around $7 million in interest to lenders, like real interest. So like basically borrowers paying more Bitcoin back to the lenders. And yeah, we did almost 96,000 loans, or like 96,000 loans on Bitcoin layer 1, which is really exciting, approaching the 100K mark. All happening on Bitcoin layer 1. Yeah, that's what we are.
Yeah, this is definitely some impressive numbers, and I've been able to follow the journey of Liquidium all the way to where we are today. And so whenever I look at like a health status of Bitcoin DeFi, I do look and see how Liquidium's doing, and so I'm like, Liquidium's thriving, so that means that like we're gonna grow. This entire space is gonna continually grow, and I think you guys have a ton of respect for that. But what would you say is like the most exciting thing that like the audience could look forward to from you guys next?
Oh man, like
we had to pick one.
One, okay. So yeah, we just had a space for everyone in the loop by the Foundations account. We are rolling out a liquid staking token for Liquidium. It will be a liquid staking token rune. We're basically developing this right now. It will be like we are developing this as of right now. As I said, this will be open source too. So basically, we will be setting a staked rune standard, or want to just open source it for the community, so other protocols can also implement that, obviously. And then we got some exciting things coming around in Bitcoin Vegas, but I can't talk about it right now. But most importantly, for people, just follow socials, be curious about stuff coming. That's what we're on to. And also hats off to you, Yagobi. I see you. Also to Steven. Like grinding almost every day, hosting that awesome shows. Like much respect doing that. And I'm beyond excited for the Bitcoin ecosystem. We are building since the beginning. And it's so awesome to see, as I said, for years, that people coming back, building on Bitcoin, using tech, which hasn't been used before, finding like workarounds like arcanes and so on, right? Like just innovating. And I think that's awesome to see. And this development which happened over the 2 years, it's beyond my imagination. And we onboard the people through Bitcoin. So
yeah, I love it.
Hey, what about the excitement level, Yagobi, like at the moment? It's just like across every speaker. And Jay, I think you epitomized it perfectly. There is so much going on and so many great protocols. And what can I say? Like, the stats that you rolled out, like you guys are OGs, you've done such a great job. But now let's keep supporting builders, right? Like, it's
obviously,
let's keep driving innovation, but let's drive users. Let's unlock Bitcoin holders, and it's projects like yours that are doing that. So it's awesome, and it's really good. I haven't met you personally. By the way, Jay, are you going to be in Vegas?
Yeah.
If I had to bet, there is going to be a Liquidium beach party event or something like in Vegas.
Yeah.
There it is.
So also there, as you said, for everyone.
I hope I make it to the list, Jay. But Jay, just a quick question: do you reckon Yagobi should be in Vegas?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Are you coming?
I mean, at this point, like my reputation like demands for me to go because like I've had like 6 people say that I have to go live on our
Yeah,
stream
obviously.
today. So
Yeah, obviously.
Come, and I will whitelist you for Bitcoin Beach at the Trio
do it.
House. Big party, awesome fun. I didn't make it last year in Nashville due to some other stuff, but like people told me it has been amazing. So
we were there.
Yeah,
we were there in Nashville. We linked up with Robin and
awesome.
got some food and all that great stuff. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. But man, Jay, very awesome stuff. We appreciate you, sir. I know that you're super busy.
Appreciate you.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
thank
I
you,
was
thank you.
late, not you.
Well, that means that you have a busy schedule too. But you know, at the end of the day, you guys were, you know, the innovators of this lending, borrowing, you know, thing that a lot of the older Bitcoiners and maxis and lasers eyes said, hey, that we don't need that. But obviously we do because of your volume. You can see the volume there. So
hey Jay, I'm putting it out there to you. Look, Tokeo surfaces great product. You know, we've done it on multiple chains. We're doing it on Sui. We've done it on Cardano. We're working with Bitcoin builders. We'd love to talk to you guys further. I know we've got a chat open. Let's explore more.
I'm on it. Obviously, we need to talk to devs, but I'm pretty sure we can work out ways to look for integrations or something like this. Happy to explore new wallets. And builders coming into the ecosystem. And just to finish something up, I mean, we've been there from the beginning, but also our ethos is like to innovate and do as much for the ecosystem as we see ourselves as like one of a foundation kind of protocol. I don't want to frame us like this, right? But like we need to work on getting the users in, finding new ways, rising the tides for everyone, because in the end, an ecosystem only accrues more value in more people building, more people coming, network effect, and we see ourselves there. And as I said, beyond excited and beyond grateful about everything we've been going through, and it's so amazing. And obviously, I'm so happy to see you guys in Vegas.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, Jay. Well,
thank
you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye. See you guys.
Bye. See ya.
Yeah. Wow. So what a good way to wrap up the Bitcoin Blitz number 5, right? I mean,
Bitcoin Blitz Tokyo Bitcoin Blitz number 5. I'm going to finish today, Yagobi, on the A's, right? We're talking about education, which is academic. We're talking about getting faster, which is acceleration. We're talking about aspiration, which is let's aspire. And we're talking about accomplishment. So let's succeed. So guys, look, keep tuning into the Tokyo Bitcoin Blitz. Yagobi, the host with the most, who is now confirmed that he is coming to Vegas. And sorry, I don't mean to dip you into that.
No. The funny thing is I texted my buddy early this morning before you even did that. So to me, these are signs. These are the world needs Yagobi to be there. So
yeah, for sure. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Number 5 of 16. Let's go. I'm not going to be on the space later tonight. Shaz is going to be joining. I'm traveling back to Australia, so I'm out for a couple of days. But Shaz will be joining from our team. We've got a bunch of Cardano folks coming over from the Jupiter community to start tuning into some spaces and tuning into some streams. And thanks everyone for coming. Awesome.
Absolutely. And remember, the next space is Bitcoin Blitz number 6. It's a traditional spaces. It will be at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we will see you guys there. Thank you so much, Geedo.
Thank you. Bye.
Take it easy. All right, guys, we're going to do a little reset here with the intro. I got a special treat, a special guest co-host in SkiGod and Ordinals OG. We're talking about shrooms. We're talking about, I think he's also, obviously he's a Billy community guy, but we're gonna bring him up after we do the intro, and we're gonna kick off with our regular daily show, guys. So give us about 2 minutes here. I'm gonna start this song that we always do, and we will be right back.
OnChain. Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Jagobi. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Ordinals the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Yagobi. I'm going to be the main host of today's show. Shizzy is out, so I will be running point guard. But I do have the pleasure of having a special co-host guest in SkiGod. I actually met this guy in Singapore after I was speaking at the Inscribe Singapore conference. I was actually emceeing one of the panels, and we just got into good conversation and really got deep into ordinals, and I was like, this guy's an OG for sure. But there's gonna be multiple things we're gonna go over today, guys. It's gonna be an awesome show. Coinbase makes it into the S&P 500. How huge is that? We're gonna go over that. Dubai has enabled cryptocurrency payments, and then also Dell. What's wrong with Dell? Dell Computers, Michael Dell, I guess he didn't convince the board to be able to put a vote up to start a Bitcoin strategic reserve. So maybe they're going to be on the losing end of the whole Bitcoin thrust up for the next couple years here. But without further ado, let me bring my guest co-host SkiGod up. How are you doing, SkiGod?
Let's go. What's going on? Gonna bring some energy this morning, huh? Tuesdays are the best day of the week, baby. Let's go.
Isn't it?
If you like what you do in life, Tuesdays aren't too bad, you know?
Absolutely. And it's not work if you like what you do in life. So could you kind of give an intro to the audience, so they get to know you a little bit? I already told them you're a degen, you gamble all your money towards ordinals, you had to sell your house for it and all that. I'm just messing around, but maybe a little intro on your background and how you got into the space.
Yeah, I wouldn't. First of all, I got to counter. I'm not an OG ordinals guy. I was not around when they first had their thing. I was around in that second wave. I would say I'm a bit more of a broad ecosystem guy. In fact, I like to pick a side. I don't like to play Switzerland. So I've been coming at the ordinals and runes people pretty hard recently, saying basically this is stupid. You're wasting your sats. Everybody's down 90%. You're all broke. You're all idiots. You're over your skis. I just to have some fun. I like the stuff, but I also think that I'm a trader at heart, right? That's where my background is. And if you're over leveraged in this stuff, no ill will to Liquidium, but like we've all heard the stories of people kind of leveraging through their JPEGs on Liquidium and stuff and things going wrong. So my voice is the small voice at that. I'm trying to basically help people not go broke if possible, because this is a hard space to navigate. And if you're not seasoned in risk management, you're gonna last a year. You're gonna last less than a cycle. You know what I mean? So I've been a trader since 2013. Before that, I played poker professionally. I've kind of I've been through the ICOs, I've been through the NFTs, I've been through the meme coins, I've done it all. And in the end, I've kind of come full circle back to being a Bitcoin guy. And I still do love to dabble and try to make money on the side. But in the end, I want more sats. That's kind of how I'm rolling. So that's my shtick.
Yeah, and I think that's a smart approach to take. I mean, it's a smart approach to take, consistently, even through the ups and downs of markets. But obviously, you look for opportunity, right? And 2023 was a big opportunity for the Bitcoin ecosystem with Ordinals and all that stuff. I mean, you have a Shroom as your PFP. It's those early inscriptions and stuff like that. Now, do you feel like you kind of got back into this Bitcoin only mentality, or, maybe don't waste so much on Bitcoin assets because of the past 6 months to, you could say, maybe 6 to 9 months? We've been in a hard market because we were in risk off.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's a lot of things. I have to take, sometimes when you go through these big downswings, right? Like post Trump coin, right? Like the whole crypto ecosystem had to take a big look at itself, right? Kind of broad pullbacks across the board. And I had to have some hard talks with myself as to, where's my money allocated? Is anything really different than any other time? Do I really have conviction in some of the things where my money is? And often I left that conversation with no, I'm not. So I had to consolidate to my convictions, remember why I'm here. And of course, I have a couple things that I do have conviction in, right? So certain high-end ordinals, a very few meme coins and runes. And, I like Solana. I'm a big Solana supporter, but in the end, if I think Solana is going to $600 or $700, like, okay, cool. But I also think Bitcoin's going to 600 or 700K. Like that's my whole thesis I have built for 2028 is like, well, if I think that's going to 6x or 7x and I have way more conviction in it, then why would I really bother risking being in Solana unless I thought it was going to outperform?
Yeah, and that could be part of the whole problem with the ordinals and runes and stuff, is that people are just like not wanting to get out of their Bitcoin until they feel like they have hit those goals. And so we could see some sort of trickle down liquidity that actually does pump those once Bitcoin hovers and says, okay, I'm gonna take a decently long break here after I've reached 500K or whatever it gets to. Do you think that makes sense as well?
Yeah, I agree. It's just the problem, the big hurdle I'm having trouble getting over with recently is I think that there was much more damage done in Q1 than people lead on. Like I think so many people are down so bad because not a lot of people are exposed to just Bitcoin. Like there's a lot of people that were like, hey, I got $8,000 to my name. Fuck it. I'm not going to just hold it in Bitcoin. I got to spin this thing up, and I don't blame them. Like they got to spin it up. They got to get out there on the risk curve. They got to do crazy things to try to run it up. And all of that type of investment got absolutely just put into shambles. And I think people are left with not much liquidity and a bunch of heavy bags. So I think to get back to that rich mentality where they're able to kind of spread their money around and do new fun things, like I think it's going to take longer for people to get rich again than it did last time. So I do agree. I think there will be a point where like it bleeds out into ordinals and runes. I just think it might be a little bit later than other people think. And that doesn't mean like don't participate in the ecosystem and all that, but there are a lot of people that are like, this is the bottom, like pile in, and they could be right, but it's just super risky in my opinion. There's a lot of people with bags, like I don't know what your case is, but like there are a bunch of rune bags that I have that I've never sold, and if we get a pump in certain ones, I'm going to sell them. So like there's hidden supply there that can come onto the market at any point.
Yeah, yeah, and the demand just has to be so aggressive to where it can, supersede that. I know exactly what you're talking about, and maybe some of these new, approaches with like Slingshot and maybe centralized exchanges can help that. But we got to see that actually happen first, and what difference that's going to make. And I
We
think
could
the biggest
talk about that all the time, right? But
yeah. The biggest thing to me is getting into risk on environment, and we need some catalyst to go in for that to happen. But let's get into some news here, because a lot of the people that are watching, we got 408 people actually in right now, just paying attention to us. So let's kick things off here with Coinbase. So Coinbase is set to join the S&P 500. A lot of people are just really like extremely bullish on this news. How do you feel about this? What does this mean for the crypto space, do you think?
yeah, I mean, I think it's just it was a coming at some point, right? I think MSTR it'll be a similar situation, but Coinbase, man, they just position themselves. They've been patient. They've positioned themselves well within like the administration, taking a very like America first thing. And to be honest, all the chips are starting to kind of fall into place for them. I think they got like a stronghold on a lot of this stuff, and Brian Armstrong just seems to be pretty goated. So, yeah, I just assume they're going to crush. They're probably going to be a massive company. I think their market cap's only like 60 billion or something, even after today.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's 60 billion, but so that's small when you're talking about traditional stocks, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's like plenty of room to just skyrocket as crypto grows.
And then there was rumors that the coin stock would come over and be digitized on Base. Do you think that would just make this exploding? Because like 60 million, they have that upside. Do you think that would help? Plus, kind of the S&P together. I mean, it could be a really good setup.
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure possible, especially because like I think this is coming eventually where traditional stocks are going to be available kind of 24/7 first on chain, and then eventually at the end of 2026 I think a lot of single stocks, or at least the NASDAQ, will be traded 24/7. So one of the reasons I hold back from really going heavy into certain stocks is because I can't trade it all day every day, right? If there's some news, which tends to happen in weird times, like you're just at the whim of like the market open, and that kind of sucks, right? Like I want to be able to be liquid at all times. So yeah, if they could get that dialed in on Base or whatever, where I can kind of be in and out of that, highly liquid, no slippage, like that's awesome. That's huge. That's going to bring in way more money on the margin.
Yeah, and the S&P being one of the first coins that gives you exposure to traditional shares, that's a huge thing, I think, in our space. So super excited about that. Let's move over to the next topic here. Do buys to accept crypto payments for government services via crypto.com. So crypto.com is a big centralized exchange, right? They're located in Singapore, so they deal with a lot of the East or Middle East. So advancing their goal of becoming 90% cashless by 2026. What do you feel about this? What does this mean as well for the space?
I don't know about this one. Dude, you know anybody who's ever used crypto.com? I know 0 people, dude. I know it was on a fucking basketball arena once. You use it?
No, not right now. Not right now, but I used it. I used it in 2022, kind of heavily, just because it was easy to onboard and offboard. But I haven't used it really since that kind of start of the bear market. I haven't used it since at least a couple years.
This stuff, I guess, is like net very slim net positive for, but when I see them say like we accept crypto payments now at like this restaurant or something, I'm just like, who cares, dude? Like, I don't like this. I feel like it's them stealing clout to try and get eyes on them and whatever. Dubai's trying to become one of the crypto hubs of the world, I guess, but like government services, like what? I don't know what that means. So I guess it's good. Shows that Dubai is maybe taking another step forward towards crypto, but they've already been pretty progressive in that space, right? So, yeah, Dubai's doing all right.
Yeah, more of a nothing burger, you feel like, right? Especially with the U.S. trying to be aggressive with it. You know, you have like New York City Mayor Eric Adams that says he wants to make New York City the crypto capital of the globe, which is complete flip because you couldn't even buy crypto with Coinbase if your IP was New York City. Do you see like a progressive city that has the potential with like liquidity and capital actually achieving this, or do you see it more of like the conservative, maybe like Austin or like Dallas, Texas, or say one of the more conservative, I guess supportive of crypto states and cities being the capital over here of it?
I think it'll be like New York City for sure. Like I think it's like idealistic to have it be like Austin and like the libertarian, like the it's like the Bitcoin maxis version of, but man, these cities, like the whole like networking and web of travel and everything in these big cities, like Coinbase is headquartered there, right? Blockworks is headquartered there. A lot of the media and stuff like that comes out of New York City. So like, they're probably just, I don't know, they're probably just gonna. But that's the thing about cryptos, right? It doesn't matter if there's like one main thing, or like there's probably just gonna be a lot of little hubs, right? Like Miami is still probably somewhat relevant. There's a lot of crypto people down there. Texas, things like that.
Yeah, I think it's really going to depend on how they can incorporate digital assets into like everyday life. Because I mean, there's this outlook that there's going to be regular Web 2 merge with Web 3. We're going to utilize crypto without really even knowing it, type of thing. But we haven't really seen that as of yet, right? Is that something you see happening? Like one of the bigger cities actually saying, okay, now you can use crypto as like an air tag or like a, just put your card and all that stuff. Or do you always feel like it's going to be like this financial, like DeFi, like the only the people that know how to use it is going to use it?
No, I think that's coming way sooner than people think. Because like, this is where I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Why is that? Why are all these like institutional people and like talking heads talking about stablecoins so much, right? They're like stablecoin, crazy use case, whatever. I feel like I've simplified it down to like where it makes a lot of sense to me. And that's, yes, we're going to have this hybrid of, we're going to have like native Web3 wallets. And then we're going to have these, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Facebook, like all these Stripe, all these wallets that we have on our phones already. They'll now that like all the regulatory stuff is being passed as whatever in this multi-month block, I now see the case for stablecoins and why it'll help Bitcoin specifically. And that's basically that we'll be able to hold Bitcoin as our store of value on our phone. And then like, we're not going to buy coffee with Bitcoin, right? But what you could do is go into a coffee shop in New York, just instantly swap $5 worth of Bitcoin into stable coins, buy that coffee, and you're good. Like, I think it's as simple as that. You keep some in stablecoin dollars that you want to use to your day-to-day life, and then you can seamlessly swap back and forth between storing it in Bitcoin or storing it in some other Web3 thing you want. And then like stable coins are going to be that fast, high speed transactional rail. And this is where I get into being a little bit bearish L1s and other things, is I think a lot of those stable coin infrastructures will be in-house and not built out on like Solana or whatever. I think they'll just process them internally, like with Visa, MasterCard. They'll just build their own stablecoin infrastructure. But yeah, so I think you're going to see it within a year where people are starting to be like, oh, I can actually just like boop, there's like QR code, boop my phone, stablecoin out. And I think it's good for Bitcoin because as the store of value narrative continues, people will be like, well, if I have $2,000 in my phone wallet, I'll put 1,900 of that into Bitcoin and spend that $100.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
that's
the way you explained it to me just now actually kind of sounds like Bitcoin is the savings account. But if you're constantly going back and forth, like I don't constantly transfer from my savings account to, my checking account for a debit card usage or something like that. But maybe that it does go like that in the future to where they just like people are preparing ahead of time of, okay, I'm going to spend $2,000 stable coin for the next 2 weeks. I don't want to dip into my Bitcoin, but if I absolutely have to, I will.
Yeah, that's where Michael Saylor's idea comes in of like this really helped me of this spectrum of currency to capital. So like currency is like the fast-paced fiat money that's transacting around the world at all times in like thousands and millions of transactions. And then capital is like the slowest moving store of value you could imagine, like gold or some big building in New York City. And like, people put their money along that spectrum. So if you, again, I'll just use the $2,000 example. If you know that you just need a few $100 for the next few weeks or month walking around the city doing your life, you'll keep that in stablecoin, right? Just in case there's a big move in Bitcoin. And then you'll keep that other 1,700 just put in Bitcoin, right? And you'll kind of just do that like naturally. Like you'll have your savings account and then you'll have your checking account type of vibe.
But it's way better than a savings account because when you zoom out, it like grows, right? Like your savings account, yeah, you might get some horrible like interest percentage on it, but it's so tiny that doesn't make sense.
I use that just as a example.
100%. 100%. All right, this next one's kind of funny. Google searches for Ethereum misspelled with what is it? Etherium are spiking. This is funny. They just assume the signaling retail investors are flooding back to the market. So I guess a lot of retail investors are not really good at English. And so is this truly, do you think, a sign? Would you use this as an indicator that they're coming back?
Probably at least a little bit, right? I mean, Bitcoin's over 100,000 again. Meme coins are pumping a little bit. Like, crypto's moving. So I would expect at least a little something. Ethereum.
That's weird, right? Ethereum.
Yeah. I mean, Ethereum will probably do okay. I personally think it's going to go to like $300, but like,
wow.
Aside from that,
whoa, hold on. We got to go back to that. $300. So you mean like in the future after the cycle, or what? Yeah, expand.
I don't have
a
timeline. I just think it's gonna slowly die and become like pretty irrelevant. I just don't see. I mean, maybe they made some big changes or are planning to that I'm not technically savvy enough to be aware of, but they've pretty much made this platform that allows L2s to be built on it, all the batch transactions to happen there, and hardly anything needs to be done on the base layer. So like, I think Ethereum could grow in use, but does that mean the token has to go up in value a ton? I don't think so, because the whole point is like they can remove it from the base layer and put it on these L2s and do all the shit. So I don't really understand why unless the tokenomics are like, unless the entire world just starts using Ethereum again and like all of a sudden there's so many transactions that like the base layer is somehow becoming more and more valuable, or they stake 99% of the tokens or something. Like, I don't get it. I just think it like right now, I want to short the shit out of Ethereum. I just, I figure at any point in crypto, there's always squeezes, right? But once there's a squeeze and it settles down, I'm like, no, that looks like a good short to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the idea behind it, is they're expecting some of these layer 2s to have so much demand that you have to buy Ethereum like to use base. You have to buy Ethereum to use abstract. You have to buy Ethereum to use what is it? The Arbitrum, right? So if these layer 2s end up having so much demand, then that's where it can come. But I'm in the same boat as you. I think they really messed up with their tokenomics. I think they tried to be too smart with it, with the deflationary sound money, to where transactions on layer one get burned or burn down the supply. But the way it works when there's no volume on layer one is the opposite, right? So the total supply kind of increases. We'll have to see if that L2 ecosystem grows. The one thing that's interesting to me, though, is that you see Sony, you see some of these big branded companies create their EVM stack, and are they going to use Ethereum? So that could happen. That could come true, to where everybody's just buying Ethereum to use the other L2s, which is kind of sad at the end of the day, because they're not using L1 ever.
Yeah, but like, why would they? Like, it's almost like the product's so good that it eventually means it shouldn't make money. Like, I don't, I don't really get it. Yeah, people have to load money onto Ethereum, but then they just off ramp it to something else. It's like, are there so many? Like, eventually everybody has money there, and I don't know. Like, to me, I'm just a dumb left curve dude in a lot of ways, and it feels way too mid curve to me. And the right curve thesis of it is not working. So
yeah,
I don't know what you want from me, man. It's like, I only have a certain amount of places I'm going to put my money, and that's not the one,
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel you on that. All right. Next up here, Hyperliquid open interest surges to all-time highs, exceeding $6.7 billion. Ugh, you being a trader in your past life and still kind of carrying it over to crypto. Do you like this? Obviously people are bullish. They'll try to get long interest going, but it seems like leverage is like the Achilles heel of the crypto space.
I love Hyperliquid. I use Hyperliquid every day, allegedly from America. And yeah, like, if you look, there's a chart that shows all-time trader P&L on Hyperliquid, and it's just down into the right. It's just like a bleed. So yeah. I mean, people lose money, but the product's good. The people want to be able to trade. Leverage is coming, whether you like it or not. I mean, we just saw 1000x get introduced on some. I think it was Bybit or no, what MEXC or something. You can do 1000x now, which means, like, by the time you get into your position, you can basically be stopped out.
What's the point of that? Like, seriously, like, you gotta get so lucky.
It's just the dream, right? It's just the dream. Like, maybe you get some news before everybody, and like you just get after it. I think perps are coming even more into TradFi. The idea that we're gonna go 24/7. Like, dude, I that's one thing, is like, I'm pretty bullish speculation for the next like 5 to 10 years, because I don't think like all of a sudden everybody is going to get smart, and like the middle class is going to boom, and everybody's going to feel wealthy, and they won't feel the need to speculate anymore. I only think the wealth gap gets worse. The problems we have amplify, and that more and more people want to just take chances. So I think Hyperliquid's a good example of that. Can't argue that the product's amazing. You want to talk about tokenomics? I don't know if there's anything better. I mean, their vesting schedule is basically nothing. All of the money that they earn in fees goes straight back into the protocol. Like,
they had the best approach to an airdrop I've ever seen, hands down. So much that people that don't research airdrops, I mean, at the time, like, I didn't research airdrops. I'll raise my hand for that as much as I should have. Expected Magic Eden to thrive after that, because we were like, oh, Hyperliquid did, but I didn't realize that they were putting like the fees to buy the supply, which, at the end of the day, there's a successful strategy in that, because the team holds Hyperliquid tokens too. And if you have a strong token in today's climate, and it shows strength, and it shows consistent strength, that bodes very well for the long-term outlook in terms of new people coming in and saying, oh man, like, I never see Hyperliquid really, drop huge or whatever. You agree with that?
Yeah, I think it, obviously it did drop quite a lot. It went from I think it went from $3 on the airdrop, which, by the way, I got none of the airdrop. I didn't use Hyperliquid before that. So I'm not just some airdrop rich guy that said like, oh, I'm a hype guy now. Like, no, I didn't get anything. So I went, It went from $3 to what, 35.
Yeah.
From 35 back down to $9, and it is now back at 25. So it's kind of in the middle. But I personally think the hype train is still going. It's still the best product. They're constantly evolving and putting new like kind of applications and abilities into like its functionality, bringing on new chains, new spot tokens, all these things. And I honestly, I think since it came live so kind of late, that it's almost still like a new cycle product. So I think it still has like a run to like 100 and 125, 150 bucks easily. And so that one I'm pretty excited. Oh, and people are going to farm it again for its next airdrop, which is going to be another massive one. Like it's not going to be like, oh, everybody knows about it now, so it's going to be like $100 for everybody. No, it's going to be another fucking absolute banger. You're going to hear all sorts of stories about it. So not surprising to me that they have billions and billions just oh, and side note, big traders are starting to use it now for like arbitraging and putting like big speculative plays on. Like there was a guy shorting hype for like, I don't know, 20, 30 million, and people thought he was just like outright short. But what I'm pretty sure was happening was he was long a fuck ton of hype, and he basically took a short position against it, and basically in the middle was churning fees. So he was like basically collecting some sort of spread, and he's okay with getting liquidated on the short side because he was already long enough to cover that.
Yeah.
So you have big smart players starting to do this stuff.
So that was actually what a lot of people rumor has it was kind of like this colluded approach to attack Hyperliquid, I think is what you're talking about. And they put it on the Bybits and Binances and stuff because they're not happy that this on-chain perps dex is thriving, but that was why it pulled back to $9 too, by the way. And so there was actually like a reason why it pulled back. Now it might have pulled back with everything else some, but I remember it pulled back drastically there. But I agree with you. I think Hyperliquid is strong. It has, and the more that it builds, the more liquidity availability it'll have and all that stuff. So excited. I use it too. I don't use it every day, but I use it. Last one before we. Yeah, allegedly. Last one before we get into the crypto fear and greed, and then also the Bitcoin price action, along with our favorite thing every day, the roll call is there's a post here saying altcoins hit their first golden cross in 4 years. Last time this happened, the market pumped 150x in a few weeks. So we all have PTSD with alt season. Do you feel like this one has some legs?
No.
Yeah. So you need more conviction.
Yeah.
I'm in that same boat.
Yeah, I could just be wrong here. I just think the whole ecosystem is not expanding enough yet. Go back to your Google search thing, right? Like it's I don't believe retail is here at all. I think most of the people in crypto Twitter and the crypto ecosystem are way worse off than they let on to be. And I think you need a fuck ton of money to support a massive altcoin ecosystem. And like, it's not like they're slowing down with coins being available. The supply is ever growing, and you need the demand to not only keep up with that, but to overwhelm it, to have a broad whatever. Like I always expected this meme pump to come, right? Like I was like, look, if everything goes down 90, 95%, you're going to have a moment where they all absolutely fucking rip, and everybody's going to think it's back, right? And to me, I'm like, I've been trying to short some stuff and it hasn't worked yet, but like, and that's okay. Like shorting's hard. It's very difficult because especially in these illiquid things, but like, to me, these are all just going to bleed back to nothingness. And like, I think you might get into the Pumpfun thing, but like, it's just another reason as to why I think these don't work. There'll be a couple winners, and everybody's going to say, oh, because Fartcoin went to $50, like we're back. Which, by the way, I'm a Fartcoin believer and holder, so don't get me wrong. I like those. But like, to me, that's not like alt season. That's just like certain, one-offs.
Yeah, that's your degen addiction. is staying in the fart coins now. I mean, look, fart coin actually has been showing strength for sure. I agree with you on that. And I have the PTSD, man. I feel like we got to get into a risk on environment. The Fed needs to relax, and there needs to be some liquidity that's like whether a stimulus or huge tax cuts or something where people have extra money, because that's the problem right now. The everyday person is broke, right? I mean, they either have their bags ready to go on this journey, or they don't have any more liquidity.
So yes, and here's the question that I have. This is actually the one that's kind of this gets into the macro stuff, right? But like, this is where I worry a little bit, is like, one of the problems is if we stimulate too much too quickly, like if Fed cuts rates, we do tax cuts, you deregulate the banks, you basically give like a new wealth effect. Stocks go up, people are spending, right? That then brings in, like, if you watch the 10-year interest rate or whatever, it will likely keep pressure to the upside on interest rates, because inflation expectations, as all this money comes in, they're printing, they're providing liquidity, they're giving tax breaks, inflation expectations are going to start to go up, which will then drive up interest rates, which will then put pressure on the Fed to not cut anymore and have to even consider hiking, which markets don't like that. And that can put pressure on the bigger tech stocks and things like that. And if crypto hasn't actually decoupled, and we eventually have really hard time in tech stocks, I could foresee that being actually a really big problem. So in a weird way, I hope we just do exactly what we're doing now. Almost scare everybody. Like, there's so many people now that are still not bought into the idea that we're in a bull market. Like, we're going up. We're in a bull market. Stocks, crypto, dollars down. Inflation's not a problem. Job market's okay. But there's still a lot of people that are like, no, Angry Orange Man is saying a lot of stuff, and like, tariffs and all this. And I'm like, this is good. This is perfect, because the markets can now just start climbing and just bewildering everybody to the point where, like, we could just rip now. And it's almost like adding more fuel to that fire will end the party earlier. So I agree with you. I think it would be great for a time, but then I worry about the consequences of a lot more liquidity.
Yeah. Well, I think you get out, and there'd probably be.
But I don't want to get out. I don't want to get out. I want to stay in.
Look at this chart, and the thing that's been kicking my ass, because I'm a digital marketer by trade, I've been in it 10 plus years. We are analytics people, right? But historical analytics this past 6 months has been kicking my ass, because I'm like, this after literally there was 7 CPI dates afterwards with a huge run up, whether it was huge green candles or big green candles with a little bit sideways and then another green candles. The last time I used that historical trend was the first time I used it. And right after CPI, it dumped. So yes, this looks beautiful, because we see what happened in 2021. 2021, there's still stimulus, though, that was given to people that probably, weren't using it on, stuff, getting a new car, or, maintaining their things. They were using it on speculative assets. But we are in this golden cross here. So I don't know. I'm hoping this happens. If it does, I think we'll have a decent Q4, and that's I can only hope.
I just think we're going up now until forever, like until something.
I like that. I'll take it.
Until something drastically changes, like everything in my eyes is pointing up.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people still buy that. Like I think Trump basically just told us over his couple tweets of like buying now and all that stuff, and the idea that like this whole idea of balancing the budget and all that, we haven't heard that in a while. They've kind of given up on Doge. Like I think we just got the green light for 4 years of like this dude fighting for your bags. And again, I'm a simple guy. If the president who has like all of the firepower in his cabinet, has Besant in his corner, has a good economy with things not falling apart, and he wants number to go up. Dude, I'm clicking buy.
Yeah.
I'm clicking all the buy buttons. You know?
Yep, 100%, man. And he's the right guy for the job. I think, he was the one that was sent for negotiations with China, and it looks like we're getting somewhere with that. But all right, we're going to move on to the crypto fear and greed, because today's show was a little wonky. We did the Bitcoin Blitz before, so I'm trying to get through some of these staples that we usually do every day. Crypto fear and greed is something. Are you familiar with the crypto fear and greed index? Okay. Shizzy's typically in my position, so you're going to play me. Yesterday, the crypto fear and greed was a 70. Last week it was a 59. Where do you think we are today? It's close to where we were yesterday, though.
I guess 64.
So +6. You got it right. 70. We hit 70 again. No. So yeah, it's actually just repeated from yesterday. So it means that we still are in this. At least the mentality is they are okay to be a little bit greedy. So I'm good with that. All right, guys, we're going to get into the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, which is brought to you guys by Artura Finance. They are not going to be doing their weekly AMA with us today. There's a couple things that got in the way with that, but we'll pick that back up next week. Artura Finance is going to be a perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles on their platform, as well as add liquidity to earn passive income that way. You can head over to artura.finance to learn more. But let's get into some crypto or Bitcoin price action. Actually, before we do that, if you guys could help us on the YouTube side, smash that like and subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, hit that share and then also hit the like for us as well. Same thing on Abstract. We appreciate all you guys helping us out here, but let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. We're going to start, as always, with the hour chart. And just to give you a heads up, we just do kind of just really high level, so no in-depth. I use these basic indicators here, but you can see for the hour chart, we're sitting at $103,500. Not too bad considering yesterday we kind of bottomed out at this 102.8. So we are making a little bit of a comeback. You can see the Bollinger Bands. They're still a little bit wide. They not as wide as we were here, right? So maybe this starts to tighten up. We go into consolidation and then a big move comes. We'll see. The stochastic RSI is definitely looking like it wants to head back down, right? So we haven't crossed over the overbought territory yet, but it looks like we are heading there and probably going to be heading to oversold here. So and it looks like the MACD also is starting to weaken here. Anything could change in terms of news headlines or anything, but it looks like it wants a little bit of a consolidation with downtrend. Probably bounce around low 103,000 to that, maybe 103.5 to higher 103. But that's just going to be the next like 4 hours, right? So keep an eye on that, because that's what the 1 hour chart kind of gives you a forecast for 4 to 8 hours. So it could, be a little bit lingering, but that's what I'm seeing for the hour chart. So let's take a look here at the 4 hour, which will give us a little bit more insight into what's coming up. I love the setup here. You can see the stochastic's been down here since Saturday, May 10th. So what was that, about 3 days ago? We have crossed back over the oversold territory in stochastics, and it looks like the MACD is starting to weaken here. So if we do get consolidation on the hour chart that we just looked at, and it actually gets a little bit more bullish in the second half of the day, it could start to complete the setup and then go into a bullish next 2 to 3 days, because that's what we are seeing there. And also, mind you that, the Bollinger Bands are tighter here too on the 4 hour. So it looks like it's probably going to be due for a move. We need to probably see a little bit more of sideways with the tight band until it decides where it wants to go. But I do like the setup here. If we do get that bullish setup, we come out of the oversold on stochastics, we come out of sell pressure on the MACD, could be a decent next 2-3 days leading us into the weekend. And the weekly chart on Bitcoin, let me reset this because that looks hideous. Here we go. Okay, like this is the chart that I have been paying a ton of attention to, because we have made some separation from the 50-day EMA. We look pretty strong here. The channel or the band looks, I would like that to kind of be a little bit more tight here. But it is the weekly, so it is not longer time frame. I don't want it to see this bottom part kind of spread out and just get a little bit wider. We want to see an aggressive move again, but we did, we're starting the week off Monday and Tuesday with a red candle. Again, like I mentioned yesterday, I'm not too worried about it. We see that in legs up here. It's not always going to be green candles only, but I do like the setup. I want to see some bigger green candles on the MACD as well. If this does stay red, let's say that, what I said about the 4 hour doesn't come to fruition. Let's say we end up, just hanging around 101 to 102 to end the week on Sunday. We'll probably have another small green candle on the MACD, but that's okay because it's a journey on the weekly chart, right? But what it looks like to me, if you look at these previous legs up, you'll have a break and then another leg up as well. Remember, we're still tailing the M2 money supply for Bitcoin's price action there. So looking pretty good there for Bitcoin. Heading over to the weekly chart for the others. Gosh, why did I do that? Let me see if I can open this up a little bit more. Yes. The others is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10. So you're looking at rankings 11 and up, but this looks pretty good. Actually, the weekly chart looks even stronger than Bitcoin's weekly chart. So I hope that golden cross does mean something because, doesn't look much better. It's still barely a green candle on the weekly, but the setup is similar. Do we see in hyper aggressive alt, kind of the others candles start to form here and get some bigger supportive candles on the MACD indicator as well? We have already kind of like speed raced across this overbought territory on the stochastics as well. But my hope is that we do, follow through with that golden cross, and then we could see this get even more aggressive. We do probably need to check with the Bitcoin dominance to see if that's still going down or not there. But that's something I would look in overnight because I do think we, need to see how the rest of today plays out. And then lastly, we always go over the crypto bubbles on the day. It does not look good though. The crypto bubbles does not look very good on the day. The weekly though looks like a bunch of Granny Smith apples looking really green here. But the day definitely looks like we have pulled back in most alts. But they're not huge percentages of pullbacks, right? You're seeing like the highest ones I'm seeing is something like XLM at, down 5.3%. Fartcoin, which is, not good because it's typically an indicator of things. It's down 5.1% as well. And some of these others that I'm seeing, I don't like to see this up 10% hex, but for the hex holders, I do, but not. I feel like it's not usually a good indicator. Anything that you see on the crypto bubbles that pops out to you?
Nah, I think this is just all like random noise after big moves. All those charts that you just went through, like honestly, I see literally no. I don't see anything significantly
different,
bearish, or I just think if we're not going sideways for a little bit, we'll be at all-time highs by next week.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. There's definitely we've seen kind of the big moves the past, I would say, 2.5 weeks, and right now, just seeing these incremental ups and downs or just natural shifts. Would you say kind of like just people taking profit and stuff like that?
Totally. I mean, we've had a crazy run. I mean, like Fartcoin's up 640% from the lows. You got like Moodang, which is up like 800% from the lows. ETH had a 30% move. Like at a certain point, these things got to kind of, just take a little seat, which I think this week it's been a little bit more of like, okay, a lot of this shit just happened. We're taking a moment and we're kind of going to see from here, so.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're going to get into the roll call, which we do every single day here. So shout out to our community. First is where we start off with, and that is Webdro says, Reaper been already. Sorry, Malam Uri. Ooh, that sucks, Malam. I know that you've been really working on trying to get in there, but I will have Shizzy add you to the spreadsheet. And for the people that don't know what First is, OnChain Revolution is giving away a Bitcoin frog at the end of the year, and whoever has the most first comments on a daily basis will win that. And we are going to do something for second and third place as well. They're going to not be a Bitcoin frog though, but there'll be a different ordinal there. Then we have Merlin's Lucky coming out, says in Bitcoin L2 Merlin will rock it. Yes, sir. Matt says Reaper, sad face. WebJoe again, Bitcoin DeFi is a massive opportunity. Looking forward to this one. Ordinal tweets with the shades. We got Seek Eternal with the googly eyes. I guess you're excited about something. Let us know what that is. OnePlus at Bitcoin is the future of DeFi. And then we got ASAP Benji. It says, come on, WebJoe, ain't you tired of winning yet? Dude, I'm telling you right now, WebJoe is probably a bot. Seriously. He gets first all the time here. And he replies with nope. Then we got Rare Sats Dom. Shout out to Rare Sats Dom. Any place to borrow against Rare Sats? Do you know of a place to borrow against Rare Sats right now?
Borrow against them? See,
Yeah.
You want to talk about like leverage, bro?
Yeah.
Like this is a question that shouldn't even be asked. Like, bro, that guy needs to go invest in Bitcoin and go on vacation somewhere and get a job. What are you talking about, bro? No,
Magisat.
I mean, maybe look at Magisat or something, but I don't, go ask Corey. Go ask Corey.sats on Twitter. DM him and see if he has, because he's like real quick. What do you think about Rare Sats? Because I went through a little.
I have them in my wallet whenever they were hot, and I haven't touched them.
Okay. Yeah, I went through a little moment there. I bought some of the Block 9 450s, and ever since then, nothing's ever happened. So
I will say this though, Ordinals differentiates it, or separates themselves from regular NFTs because of Rare Sats and these different things, early inscriptions. And I wholeheartedly think that there's going to be a collector's market for it, but we're so early. Collector's markets take time for people to say, oh, I want that, and so maybe 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, I think we'll see some really cool stuff and price valuations with them.
Real quick, the 450 Block 9s, do you have some of those? Rare
what I'm talking about? Me, no, I have black uncommons and I have regular uncommons, and I try to get into some stuff like I'm a card collector, right? So I got Luka rookies and even all going back to MJ stuff. So for me, I look at early. So I think about 2009 as Bitcoin's genesis year. So I was trying to focus on getting 2009, 10, 11 uncommons, or even the what were the butterfly ones called where the numbers go? Yes, palindromes. I actually picked up a ton of early palindromes because they were cheap, and I felt like maybe they would be valued in the future. We'll see. But what's special about the Black 950s?
Yeah, it's my favorite narrative of Rare Sats. Is the Block 9 450s are all the Sats that were in the first ever transaction on the Bitcoin network. So when Satoshi sent a transaction to Hal Finney, it was the first ever Sats that were moved on the network. So to me, my favorite way of saying it is just imagine the first ever dollar bill in America that was used for some the first ever transacted dollar bill. You can own a part of that dollar bill. That's to me what the Block 9 450X Sats are. You have a piece of that first ever dollar bill used on the Bitcoin network for a transaction. So I think that's a cool.
Yeah, for sure.
You can buy into that narrative,
Yeah, the historical narrative. What do you think about the uncommons though? Do you think there's too many of them?
Yeah, I guess I'm a person who I need limited supply to really the Rare Sats or whatever, the ones from the first block of the halving or whatever it is, or the first Sat of each halving or something. I can understand that, but even that I'm a little bit okay, do I really care about the first Sat of the 2024 halving?
Yeah,
maybe, but like to me, I like the Bitcoin pizza ones, like the meaningful, like
Historical events.
yeah, like an event, like the first ever transaction on the network, the Bitcoin pizza thing, because it's like a cultural thing. But there's a lot of those, right? You can buy a fuck ton of those. So
Absolutely.
the uncommon ones, is that just like
The first
I
SAT.
don't even
The
know the
first SAT-
story behind it. Like,
so they're the first SAT of every Bitcoin block. So right now, I think there's been like 800 and certain amount of thousands of blocks that have gone through. So I mean, the supply. If you can make my like dream is to make these rare sats like fungible tokens, because like that's where I think the supply could really come in. And now you're trading like rare coins, right? For example, like a Susan B. Anthony's whatever year has maybe like 10,000 total in circulation. Now you can assess value based upon that. And I hope that one day we can get there, but we'll see if that's ever possible. But yep, carrying on here. Danny Boy, our guy D Block says damn reaped. And then we got I = X bags going up. Yes, sir, they are. Milan Yuri says, hello, WebJoe hired the Reaper man, still hitting all-time highs. And then we have Aged Cider as a new member. Thank you so much for joining our membership. Welcome to the family. Nabob, just a bunch of emojis with a flaming heart there. Lackey Lukey's giving props to WebJoe. And I think we got a couple more here. Mempool Punk as well. And Mark from Launchbox GMGM. We got Vinges. I'm butchering your name, I know. Mildress says, good day, Toke fam here. Shout out to you, sir. And he says, hey, to Raul Luto, which is the founder of Fluid Tokens. Ordinal Chip says, only Shizzy and Yagobi are true legends. Now, we got a lot of true legends in our space, guys. El Corrado from X. Shout out. Make sure you guys put the screenshot of the Tokyo download in the spaces so you guys can try to win that 20,000 dog tokens. Chief AXL with the ninja with the orange and the orange heart. We got super fan GM Pelpa GM. Matt says, let's go. Anthony Popliano LFG. Then we have Mice Elf that says DCA is the way. Most leverage traders usually get wrecked. That's true, right? Most leverage traders.
Technically true.
Yeah. And then he follows up with, who shorts in a bull market? I think he's probably.
Bro, you got to live a little bit.
I think that
you got to remember. You got to remember, I was a trader for a long time. There's shorts available at a bull market. Just look at January, right?
Yep. All right, now we're going to go into a little bit of on-chain news, and then we'll wrap the show up today. So Brave is adding native support for Cardano ADA, teaming up with research and development company Input Output to integrate Cardano into browser's multi-chain wallet. So Brave is, a pretty big name in the wallet game. I'm curious how you look at Cardano, because Cardano's, everybody knows what Cardano is, but they're trying to plug into Bitcoin, and now there's this. What's the outlook for you in Cardano?
Bad.
No good. No bueno. What's your reasoning though?
I just think they have a cult formed for no reason. Like, I just look at usership, growth of a network or whatever, and ultimately, things can last a long time, but still be, I think, irrelevant and a waste of your time and money. And Cardano is one of those things. I feel like these little bullshit narratives of the Hodgkinson guy, being somehow included in the administration when that wasn't really the case, or I just don't buy any of this shit. The Ripple one, I could see Ripple kind of shocking people, but Cardano, no. Brave's been around a long time, but I've never really used it. I just feel like Google Chrome's always been okay, but
yeah. Well, the thing about Cardano for me is that it is a UTXO chain, and so there's multiple similarities to you having that skill set as a developer over there and transitioning over here. We've actually seen it in our ecosystem, with Fluid, with Maestro, with Tokyo Wallet, and stuff like that. So they have their version of DeFi over there, and so that's what makes me bullish on it. I think there are some of those older narratives that was kind of like, Charles Hawkinson was kind of seemed like a whiny baby, like, like why not us and all these things kind of, but it seems like maybe that's changing, and it's not because of him, in my opinion. It's more because the builders that have expanded their knowledge base and brought it over here. So we'll see.
But like, well, whatever.
I can give you an example of how that was beneficial. So fluid tokens, for example, like we didn't have staking on Bitcoin layer 1 really, right? Babylon did some kind of institution. Well, it was an institution. It was like big whales and stuff where they staked 6 billion Bitcoin in a like not permissionless way to do it. But Fluid, what they were able to do is bring their skill set over and work with the opcodes that we have on Bitcoin right now to actually have native staking on Bitcoin. So they've done it for the dog community already. There's about like 6 vaults over there, and it's completely native Bitcoin layer 1. So that's where, and then now people are mimicking them that weren't from Cardano. And he said because he worked on a UTXO chain and was able to manipulate different things using opcodes over there, he was able to kind of figure out things over here. So that's where I feel like it can benefit.
Well, yeah, but like, how does that accrue back to Cardano? I'm confused.
So it accrues back because now their second level is the there's a bridge that they've created called Aquarium that allows you to bridge assets from Bitcoin layer 1 to Cardano, and it's their product, right? Their protocol. On that bridge, they have a DEX that has liquidity. So, for example, they're getting dog pools on that, right? So that specific staking was more benefiting them as like, okay, they earned the trust of the Bitcoin ecosystem community to say, oh shit, like I actually made this much dog from staking my dog the first time. And now the second staking pool is for dog is going to unlock in about 15 days. So what that did, in my opinion, is kind of say, okay, they have this now free flowing bridge that's going to be live from Cardano to Bitcoin. I might give it a try if there's ways for me to stake and do liquid stuff over there.
I guess. I mean, I just think it's got to be a lot of people, and it's got to be more than just like, oh, this is some interesting thing. It's like the Zeus token, right? With like Solana and Bitcoin. Like, I just feel like it's got to be something that really drives like some really large adoption for it to matter for a Cardano price over like a lot of time. So yeah. I mean, maybe I just am a little bit wanting to be a hater, right? But in the end, I'm like pretty in touch with where money's going and why. And until like I see like a really clear reason as to why Cardano should really, be where people are putting their money.
Yeah. You want it to be more kind of like, clearly in your face after you do some research. You're like, oh, well, this is pretty, obvious kind of situation.
Yeah. But I mean, yes, but like, I understand memes and like how they're not valuable and like how it's all speculation, all that. But like, I don't feel like that's there with Cardano. It's lingering somewhere between useful and a meme at this point. And I think it needs both, like it needs to get another speculative mania towards it, plus needs to become useful to drive like billions of dollars that way.
Yeah. I mean, their market cap's pretty big, but I see what you're saying. Their biggest meme is called Sneck, and I think there was a teaser about possibly getting on maybe Kraken, but Kraken also has teased the hell out of dog. Like dude, that is like the biggest like tease that I've seen with Kraken putting dog on.
Show me the beef, man. Show me the beef. Like we could talk about tier 1 shit all day, but like until one of these pops. By the way, Snack is a great meme name. Love that.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on here. This one's pretty big. You mentioned it earlier. Pumpfun will now share 50% of Pumpfun revenue with coin creators, giving them 0.05% in SOL on every trade starting today. Everybody's been bitching, including us on this show, about like how Pumpfun just takes and takes and takes, but they never give back. And it looks like they said, okay, this is how we're giving back. Do you think this is significant?
No, I just think this, I think it's cool, and like clearly they're adjusting to try and kind of, you know, because that's kind of where memes will head, and you know, as more social factor gets brought into it, but it just increases the amount of supply again to me, where I think unless you're a seasoned trader or have a very specific edge in the meme market, like I just think it's people are going to lose over time. I think it like puts way more coins out there because everybody's going to want to create a coin and be able to try to generate fees. And again, you're just increasing the size of this like graveyard of memes. And I just think it's like the meme ecosystem eventually eats itself because it grows too big and there's not enough money coming in to go into all these things. So it kind of spreads too thin, like a lot of spinning plates, and then they just all fall at once. So to me, it's the same. It's like just more. It's more fuel when it's going well, but it's way worse than like NFTs or whatever on the way down because everybody just pulls the rug and there's like no liquidity in these things, you know, other than maybe the top few memes here and there. So
yeah,
it's cool, but like I just ultimately think it's just negative, you know.
So I've been in that boat for a long time, to where something like Pumpfun is, you know, it's not healthy, and now you have people talking about like if there's going to be, you know, the U.S. is going to regulate our space, then they should throw meme coins and Pumpfun into like the gambling category and let gambling regulators kind of regulate them.
Mm-hmm.
Society has to smarten up at some point, right? It's like this. You know, let's say for example, for you and your wife or whatever, I don't know if you're married, but let's say that you have another married friend, you know, couple that every twice a year you guys go to Vegas to gamble and have fun. Like, you know, you guys know before you go to Vegas that like, or you know, at least the women do. They're like, okay, I have $200 I'm going to gamble with. Once I'm done, I'm done. Like, you know what I mean? And do you think we reach that? Because it's like society has done that so many times. They don't, unless you get like this hardcore addiction, which people have done that. Most people can say, okay, after my $200, I'm out. I'm not, and then they don't want to go to casino again for like 6 months or a year or whatever. Do you think that's what happens with these meme coins? Like, we got to smarten up at some point, right?
I don't know, because like if you look at DraftKings and FanDuel and all that, I mean, it's with parlays and all this stuff. People find money, man. They all like develop these crazy habits and problems, and it's so in your face. Like, I do think meme coins will be relevant and will be even easier than now to trade, like with all these wallets like Slingshot and Moonshot or whatever, you know, all these shots. It will be rampant. I'm just thinking in a supply and demand scenario, like there's just too much supply. I think all of the demand will get sucked into a few as it captures the like cultural zeitgeist of the moment or whatever. And I think it's good if you're good, but like if you can't, like, can you Yagobi like actually say, here's my specific edge in meme coins? Like,
No.
do you have, right? And like, if you don't have insider information, if you don't have really good sniping technology, if you know, if you're not running a Solana node with these P9 machines or whatever, or if you don't understand, like you're always a step behind, and like you're also going to be probably pretty bad at executing. So like, it's just like you said, it's just like a casino where like, you know, you're a loser. They just don't know they're a loser yet. You know, that a lot of people think they're not losers. And I'm like, point to the scoreboard, bro. There's very few people that are like Chronicle or whatever on, or some of these guys on Sol that actually are good traders that execute well in this space. So ultimately, I think it can't last if there's not that much. If the supply is ever increasing and everybody's losing, you know.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to stick around for sure.
Yeah, it's going to stick around because, you know, obviously Pumpfun doesn't want to shut it down. They're making so much money. But I agree with you. I think it gets to a point to where people start to look for more substance and stuff. And I hope it does get to that, like, you know, showing revenue matters and these kind of things. But, you know, this is a complete change in financial system. So we're kind of learning as time goes on, and I hope that I have enough faith in human society that we won't be stuck in this and just we all become a bunch of pores. That's the the whole
Or like
scary thing.
better, like you're doing your part, like better education, better infrastructure, like better ways to operate and like get people up to a level to where they're not just like right now, man, they're just absolutely sending it and they're all just getting wrecked. Like I know people getting wrecked, you know what I mean? And they're just, I made a video on this the other day saying meme coins are dead just because like I did it on the day that meme coins were ripping.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that'd be funny just because like I think I'll look back on that video and I think I'll be right at some point where like I just think so many people are losing astronomical amounts of money. But it, like once they fall off, it's not like they're living on X saying, "Hey guys, look how much money I lost and what I learned, and here's the silver linings." No, they just disappear. You know.
No, they go back into the they go back into the system. They go back to work for the man
until the next time when they get another few $100 and they get the app on their phone and they do it again because this time's different and I've learned. You know. Sure, buddy.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude, because that's seriously exactly what you said, like goes through my mind. But the one thing that keeps me like saying, our space isn't lost because there's so much potential here, and the stuff that's being built out is like you do see some of these big brands coming over and really trying to build structure and infrastructure, like for example Parler Pay. They developed that with Optio, which is a cryptocurrency. It's an EVM ERC-721 or ERC-20, but it's the payment processing for like Parler and a bunch of brands, right? So more of that stuff will push and get more respect, I think, from the masses, and stuff that like these big Web 2 builders that have some experience with Web 3 or hire a Web 3 department merge it to where like the normies don't even know they're using crypto or whatever, they don't care. At the end of the day, that's like if you ask, go to Harvard and ask a random chick, like that could be like, even shit, I would say even a CS major, maybe not CS, but let's just say philosophy or whatever, and be like, hey, how does the internet work from step 1 to step last? They're going to be like, I turned my phone on and hit the browser. You know what I mean? Like they don't know, they don't care. It became a point where it didn't matter, and that's where I think we're gonna. And if we have success in our industry, that's where we'll be one day.
I totally agree. It's just like we'll know when it's coming. Like we'll know when. Like we're good at reading. Crypto prepares you for like seeing a wave of like a popular thing. We see memes before we see them in real time. Like we're before the normie, and we're going to see normies start to get into this stuff more, and you're going to feel it. But right now, like all of the normies who did happen to pop in at the last moment and try to buy Trump coin or, try to buy this stuff in the last year, they all lost their money. So like, it's going to take a while to get that wave to come back. Not just this one pump off the bottom with like Mudang. You know what I mean? Like it's going to take a while. And I think I'll know it when I see it because we've seen it a million times in crypto when stuff gets popular, that I don't feel like it's a rush. Oh, by the way, we're at like 104 right now. We've been bulling it up, baby. We've been supporting the markets ourselves here.
Yep, exactly. And so it kind of did the opposite of what I said on the hour chart when I broke it down. I said it has to make a decision here. It looks like it's getting weaker, and it decided to pop up. Bitcoin's funny like that and likes to prove me wrong, which I'm fine with that. But yeah, we're at 104,200, so looking pretty good. If we can stay, keep this trajectory. Maybe there was a headline or something that came through.
Well, we had a CPI this morning, so like we've been having this sell off into, like, especially when the number has gone up the day before the CPI or ISM numbers or non-farm employment. Like there's been these sell-offs. So we were at 105, just like arguably you're still right, because I think we're still below kind of like the 105, 104.5 area before we had the kind of de-risking that we had yesterday. But CPI came out soft this morning, which just gives more credence to pricing in cuts, and so pretty bullish situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't believe I actually forgot that month over month. So for the audience, core CPI was the actual CPI was 2.8, estimated 2.8, prior 2.8. Oh no, man. It's just stayed exactly the same.
But it's like, which CPI do you pay attention? Which fake CPI is going to most impact the market, right? Because I think you had one that was like 2.4% expectations. It came in at 2.3. So it's like, does that one matter more than the 2.8 versus 2.8? Like, it's all such a joke.
Yep, for sure. But I will say though, with that golden cross and alts showing some life, I'm like you to where I need some further conviction. But at least this is a start. We'll see if it continues. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up the show, guys. I'd love to give you kind of a chance, because maybe some last words of how people can find you, what you got going on before we end it.
Yeah, I'm on crypto or crypto. I was going to say crypto. I'm on crypto Twitter. I'm on X, SkiGod Crypto. I've been trying to make some more like basic trading videos for fun and stuff lately, just because I have some free time. So check those out. And when it comes to like the space, I would just say, like, I've learned a lot in the past 3 or 4 months. I've really had to think hard about why I'm here, what I'm trying to get out of it. Don't let it, sometimes I let it control me rather than me controlling it. Sorry, my camera died.
You're good.
But I would say just really think about your convictions in the space, where you spend your time, where your edge is. And, you don't want to be positioned in things that are, other people's convictions, especially in a bull market, and then use this time also to think about like, hey, if you have certain things working, like certain bets working, potentially start thinking about like, what would be the best case scenario? Like, where would I exit? And if I'm going to exit at all, where and why and when? Just start asking yourself those questions, because if you don't have any idea, the market's just going to decide for you. So just food for thought.
Yeah, great tips there. And when the market decides for you, that means usually a transaction didn't happen. You're either holding the bag or, yeah, that's pretty much it, right? But man, this has been a really, really fun show. I appreciate you helping me out. And guys, 479 people viewing our stream today. We love each and every one of you guys. Without y'all, we could not do this. If you could check out our partners, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is a DEX aggregator. BetBTC is a predictions market for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Emblem Vault, if you haven't heard of Emblem Vault, you're living under a rock. They're an interoperability tool. You got Artura Finance, we talked about them. They are the leverage and perps DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Fluid tokens, huge things with their staking on Bitcoin native L1. Tokeo Wallet, shout out to that team. They've been crushing it. Smart wallet you can download on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And if you do that, take a screenshot and put it in our X live stream comments for a chance to win 20,000 dogs tokens. And then lastly is Merlin Chain as well. And then we have our integrated partners, Foxy AI and Ordinal Hive. We thank you guys so much for watching today. We are live Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. And also we do some segments throughout the week as well. But until tomorrow, we will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
OnChain Revolution, roll call, market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. now. We bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.